Hello everybody. Today we are going to look about variable air volume units. Okay, as a BMS or the BACS engineers, what are the things that we should know? Okay, welcome everybody to LNP Renewables. I am Praveen Das. Now let's get into the topic of what is VAV and where we can see how it will be. Those things we can see. Let's get into the video. So, first of all, while knowing, when we are trying to know anything, first we will have some questions. Okay, why I should know about a VAV, and where can I see this? How it looks like? What are the things as a BMS or the BACS engineer I should know in the VAV? Okay, so this is how the VAV will be. VAV, the expansion for the VAV is variable air volume. So from the word itself, we can able to identify that. It is going to provide an air, okay, which is all often varying. Okay, we all know that air is not a constant one. Okay, it will be keep on varying in a particular space. In the occupied space, it will be keep on varying, right? That particular air, we are going to concentrate through a rectangular and a circular tubes. Through that, we are serving inside the particular buildings. Okay, this is how the variable air volume will be. So see here, there is a damper actuator. This is the airflow sensor, and this is a rectangle bus. This is an electrical panel. This is a electrical switch. Okay, from the MCC panel. So now we are getting the answers for the questions. How it looks like. Okay, now what will be inside that VAV? We saw that box, right? Inside that box, you see there is a actuator. Okay, on the other side of the one, there is a dampers will be there, which is mounted on the shaft. To control that dampers, we need actuators. Okay, electrical actuators. Okay, these are the electrical actuators. It's operating volt which will be, we can keep on 230 volt, or a few might be operating in 24 volt also. And this control voltage for this actuator is 2 to 10 volt supply. Okay, this is the BMS controller. Okay, why we are going for the BMS? BMS nothing but the DDC controllers. DDC controllers is direct digital control. Why we want to go to? Because it is when compared to the programmable logic controllers, it is little less in cost, and for this application purpose it is better to use the DDC controllers. We can use PLCs as well. PLCs are a little cost effective, and its application area is very big, and it's that's why the reason it is a little costly. So in such places we can go for DDC controllers also. Okay, so see here, there's air velocity sensor. The air velocity sensor is being connected to this DDC. And in order to measure the temperature inside that room, we need a thermostat. Okay, the duty of this thermostat is to measure the present temperature. Okay, and giving the feedback about the present temperature. Okay, so in the controller, what we will do in the controller, we will inside this controller, we will make a program in such a way to maintain a particular temperature, same like the AC which is already working. Here we will do the program as a BACS engineer, as a BMS engineer. We have to do the programming inside this DDC controllers. See here, inside for this one, this dampers. Dampers, we can choose two types of dampers. One is DI-DO input, okay, direct digital input, digital output type, or we can go for modulating, which is nothing but an analog input, analog output type. Here, our command is the analog input to the actuator, but from the controller, it is an analog output. Okay, our command, and the feedback now the actuator is at the what position? Okay, that feedback voltage, 2 to 10 volt, that is an analog output of that actuator. Okay, and it is an analog input to the DDC controllers. Okay, it is 2 to 10 volt. So for the digital, it's very easy. It's like the same like operating a 24 volt relay. When it gives the command, the actuator will open fully. When it gives the command as close, it will close automatically. Okay, and the temperature sensor, we know it. It's changing a physical parameter into an electrical quantity. It will be 4 to 20 milliamps. Okay, the settings we have to do here, and here we have to connect in the analog input. Okay, in the thermostat we are not at all going to give any sort of commands. We are just monitoring it. Okay, Okay. Now only command we are giving is we are controlling is this dampers and also the air velocity also. Okay. So what how it will work? Simple. So in the thermostat, okay, we can set the temperature in the thermostat physically as well. Say for example, we are maintaining the temperature as 24 degree. Okay. Right now, the temperature at the room is around 30 degree. So there is a 6 degree difference. So to maintain that temperature, okay, cool air has to come. Okay, where the cool air will come? Cool air will come from the air handling unit. Okay, in the air handling unit, supply main branch. Okay, there are so many branches will be there based on the routing. Okay, that routing, these VAV terminals will be present in the branches. Okay, so it will take the air from the AHUs, okay, AHU ducts, and will supply to that particular room. Okay, now in order to maintain that 24 degree, now the temperature is 30 degree. So to maintain the set point of 24 degree, the controller has to give the command. Okay, so it will give the command to the actuator. So it will ask it to open 100%. So it will give a 10 volt. So the actuator will open fully. Okay. Once the temperature is achieved, okay, once the temperature is achieved, the thermostat will keep on monitoring the temperature. It will give the input to the controller, the temperature is achieved. So now the controller will give the close command, that is 0 volt to the actuator. It will close. Okay. So now let us see how the AHU ducts will be there. So this is how the ducts will be there. See, this is how the supply ducts, return ducts of the entire HVAC systems of the VAVs look in the ceilings. See, these are the terminal units at the different places which are supplying the particular rooms. Once above ceiling there won't be any much that much partitions, but below that there will be room partitions. In that particular rooms, through these ducts, through these VAV terminals, the temperature will be maintained. Okay. So this is a typical view. Okay, this is the damper actuators. This is a cooling coil. Okay, the VAV with the cooling coil. Okay, there are two types. One, either from the AHUs we can give, or otherwise there itself we can provide a cooling coil. Through that cooling coil we can cool. So inside this cooling coil, okay, chill water supply will be there, and in the return line there is a valve. So here the actuator will be there. So it will be controlling the chill water flow also. Okay, like this also we can control. So this is one of the graphics as a BMS engineer. What are the parameters you have to show in the SCADA? See here, the temperature sensor is showing the temperature. Okay, there is airflow. Okay, damper position. What is the damper position? This is the feedback, and this is a damper command that we are providing. This is the temperature of that particular room. From the thermostat, we will read these values. Okay, and during the winter times and all now, the cooling will be more. So in such occasions, in order to maintain the cooling, we have to use the heaters to maintain the temperature. Okay, so when the command is given to the heaters, the thyristors will be on, and it will be heating the air which is coming from the AHUs. Okay, and here so many features we can add. We can provide the schedule. Okay, through the PIR sensors we can provide occupancy and the unoccupancy status also. And also we can keep the two different set points also. At occupancy, when someone is there, what should be the temperature? When nobody is there inside the room, what should be the temperature? So when someone is there, that is occupied. When nobody is there, it is unoccupied. Okay. So some of the electrical parameters of these VAVs are being connected to the electrical wiring has been done to the MCCs. From the MCCs also we can see. Okay. And see here, this is one of the simple example. The VAVs is a supply at set point. Okay. And this is a feedback from the damper. Okay. This is the control to the thyristor. Okay. Here the control for the thyristor will be 4 to 20 milliamps. Okay. And this is the high temperature cutoff. Okay, when the temperature is too high, okay, when the electric thyristor is getting heated beyond the allowed temperature, we can cut off it. Okay, so for the back service we have to provide some inputs through communication, that is temperature from the temperature sensor, and whether is there any occupancy demand is there from the AHUs, and also the set point is also being sent to the back service. So this is how the VAV is mounted over the roof. This is the close-up view, and see here in the chill water line the actuators are being connected. Okay. Now if you look into the sequence of operation, as I already told, okay, the set point can be between 18 to 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, it can be from the thermostat or from the touch screens also we can provide the temperature input to the wax workstation. So during the occupancy mode, okay, for the cooling purpose, damper will modulate from V minimum to V maximum. For what purpose it is moving from V minimum is nothing but the 0 volt to 12 volt or a 10 volt. Okay, heater will be off cut off during the cooling mode, but during the heating mode, normally the damper will open only 60% because it is already too cold. If you open the damper, the room will get too much cooler. So to avoid that, it will open only 60%. Okay, and the heater will be on. Okay. This is how during the cooling and the heating mode the VAVs will work. Apart from the normal sequence of operations and regarding the electrical parameters, we also should know what will be the high temperature cutoff for that, and what is the if there is any communication failure happens, we should trigger alarm, and through the backnet routers we might be communicating the back server to the VAVs. Okay, VAV via backnet routers it will be communicating to the back servers. So if there is any communication failure also alarm should rise. Okay, so we have to create that alarms as well. And if there is any temperature deviation is going, okay, if it is happening more than 60 seconds, then an alarm we should raise. And thank you so much.